demonstrator in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and I go live every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time to share with you some of the things that I'm working on and Stampin' Up! News and whatever's going on. So here I am today, and lately I have been going through the templates on page 22 of the catalog. However, I'm not doing that today. And the reason is because I have a class coming up this week, and I like to preview a card from the class whenever I can, just prior to the class, especially if it has some special features that people coming to the class can watch in advance so that they can see what needs to be done. So that's what I'm doing today. So I'm excited to share with you a card made with the Friendly Fins bundle. All our bundles that have dies that go with them are on sale for an additional 10% off whenever you buy a stamp set and the matching dies together as a bundle. They are 10% off the price that it would normally be if you just added them together. And this month, it's an additional 10% off that price. So it's a great time to get a bundle or two if that's what you're interested in. So I wanted to share this one. It's one of my new favorites. So let's go ahead and pop over to my desktop and see what I'm talking about. So here we are. This is the Friendly Fins stamp set, and you can see it's got lots of little fish, and it's got a dolphin and a hammerhead and a stingray, and I love anything that goes with in the ocean. So that is why I chose to do this. Plus it comes with dies, and these dies cut out all the different elements. So we have one for the dolphin, the hammerhead, and the stingray. Also a rock with a little texture and some little fish. So we have all that, and plus we have some additional dies that I'm actually going to be using, so they're in a separate dish. And you can see this is a bunch of coral, like an outcropping of coral. Check out this little lobster. It's a little lobster. And we have bubbles, because you can't have the ocean without bubbles. We also have, here's another rock. We can cut out some fish, and we've got some algae, and these are all stuck to the bottom of my metallic dish. You can see I have this little dish that I put them in so that when we're doing the class, everybody knows which dies they're going to be using. And for this particular class, I'm doing a lot of the cutting in advance because, let me show you the card. It's got a lot going on. But that's the bundle. Check out the little conch shell. Always good to have one of those. Oops, need that little lobster. Okay, so that is the bundle. So let's move over and check out the card we're going to make. Look at this. Now, I'll tell you, it's not an original. I did borrow the design from 2 or 3 different demonstrators who had come up with cards that kind of looked similar to this, but didn't have all the same features and didn't use all the colors and such that I wanted. So I created my own, but it is very similar to some that you might see out there, or kind of similar. But I love that it has the dolphins on it and the little fish that swim away and make a splash. I didn't point out, but it does have a bunch of sentiments too. It's just a plain old thanks for everything. A happy birthday, always good to have. Make a splash. I'm a water girl, so anything with splash or water or anything like that makes me happy. So that is the design of the card. Let me show you how to make it. So we're going to start with a card base of, this is one of the new in colors. It's called Summer Splash. And guess what? You got it. It is my new favorite. And so I'm going to fold that in half. Okay, so it's a standard size card, 8.5 by 5.5, that I folded in half at 4 1/4. So then what I did was I took a piece of Pool Party cardstock and I ran it through with the bubbles. Now I wanted to show you this because, number one, I will try to do this in advance because we end up with tons and tons of little tiny pieces that pop out, and they will stick to the plate. And look what happens when they stick to the plate. You get little shadows of bubbles. And I just think that's cute, and it was unintentional. absolutely unintentional, but I love it. So that is what we're starting with. So hopefully that will be done or mostly done, but it is a little bit painful getting all these little pieces out, because not only do you have to get them out of here and off the tray if you don't want the little background, but also you want to make sure that you're always popping out the little dots before you run it through again, because if you get two or three in there, they become hard to poke out. And I use my take your pick tool to poke it out. And you can see that I left one. I thought I saw one. Where did it go? Over here. This little one was stuck inside there. So let's get that out so that when I go back upstairs to cut more, it's ready. All right, so I'm going to just glue this down using my Stamp and Seal. And I will be using both Stamp and Seal and the Tombow multi-purpose glue as well, because we've got some little pieces. But there we go. So I've glued it down, and you can see I got little shadows of dots, and we've got the little dots. It is going to be a very random thing because I'll be running them through a great volume. So next, I am going to have, I may have these die cut. You may get to die cut them yourself, but this is the die that shows the coral, I don't know what you would call that, but you know, that Ariel swims through all the time when in The Little Mermaid, right? She's always swimming through that. And I'm just going to add this to the very bottom of the card because this is sitting on the bottom of the ocean. So I'm just going to put a little adhesive there and get that on there. Okay. Okay. So then we've got other little doodads to put in here. We're going to have a rock, and what I'm going to do is look what I got. I ordered these little triangular. These are bead plates. So if you do diamond art, which I tried for the first time this week, or if you do any kind of beading, these are little trays that you can put the beads in. Well, it also works nicely for all the little pieces that I'm going to be cutting out for everybody to use. And so they're just 3" by 3". I just got them on Amazon, super inexpensive. And I pre-cut what I needed for this presentation. So here's the rock. Remember I told you about that rock? But look, it's got all the lines in it. And what I love is that I don't have to do any stamping. Now, I don't mind stamping, but if I'm doing a class with people and I want to put it in the mail, we're not allowed to stamp it for you. Okay, that is a policy that Stampin' Up! Has. It's a copyright policy, and for very good reason. We don't want to mass produce things that are stamped. That takes away from the artists. The artists own, in this case, Stampin' Up! Owns the design, and we don't want that just to be distributed everywhere, even though a lot of that happens, but that's a bad thing when it happens. Okay, so anyway, a lot of times I'm doing cards and I like to send out the pieces, and people don't necessarily have the same stamp set or whatever, but when I have die cut pieces like this, I can assemble them in different ways and add a little bit of design and texture by doing so. So you see, I'm just popping these little seaweed or plants, or whatever you want to call them, popping them on, and I'm just using the regular adhesive. You could use the green glue, the Tombow multi-purpose glue. I recommend that too. And I guess I'm just using my Stamp and Seal today. Okay, so look how cute he comes out, right? Who doesn't love a little lobster, right? And we're gonna just tuck him. I'm gonna call him Sebastian. Anybody familiar with The Little Mermaid? I had all boys, but I didn't care. Ariel is my favorite. She swims. She has red hair. She's a Disney princess. So, Mama's got to have a little going on. So, okay. So there we go. So now I have the base of my card. And like I said, for the people coming to class, a lot of this will be done for you. Look for the little trays and the little things on the table to work with. But let's move on to the actual stamping on this card. So this card is this class is done in person, and so we can do some stamping. But I also, because I have so many people coming, I didn't want to bog things down. So that's another reason why I am die cutting a lot of stuff, because otherwise they'd be there all day, and my husband probably wouldn't appreciate that. So I'm going to start with basic gray. Now I could be using black for this, but I chose not to, only because I think basic gray gives a nice little, it just softens it just the littlest bit. So I'm using the dolphin. Now you can see I must have pressed too hard, but I'm not a hard presser, so you can tell you get it on the inside there pretty easily. But I'm tapping, not squishing. And no matter how hard I press, I'm not getting it on the inside, okay? Because it is raised where I want it to be. So I'm going to stamp on this piece of paper. So this little piece of paper is 3x4, just so happens to be. And that's what we're going to be using. And then I'm going to keep this open because we're going to use it again. But what you can do with this dolphin, it's a two-stepper. It is a two-step dolphin. Now, I want you to look at my dolphins on here, and then I'm going to show you how I did it. So you can see that this piece is going to line up with the fin at the top and in the back and in his nose. And I'm using smoky slate for this. Watch what happens. So first of all, adorable. Just adorable. Okay, I have a phone in my face, my camera, but look how dark that is. Okay, it is dark, but I promise you in a few minutes, it's not going to be so dark. It lightens up. For whatever reason, as this smoky slate dries, it lightens to a much lighter color. So there we go. So I've got my two dolphins on there, and then I'm going to use some crushed curry, and I'm going to stamp some fish. And I'm doing it all on here because I'm going to be die cutting them out. Oops, so the fish are also two steps. So you see we have the fish. Can you see that? Let's see. So I'm using crushed curry. Probably could have used, I probably should have used pumpkin pie maybe. I thought maybe the crushed curry would be okay, but Nemo is, orange. So I don't know. Might have to switch to pumpkin pie. But for right now, sticking with the crushed curry. And then I'm going to use the detail of the fish. I like to stamp on this one, the body first so that I'm lining it up, but you can stamp it either way. You can either do the detail first or, oops, sorry. You can tell I have the phone in my way, so I apologize if this is not lined up, but it is easy to do. Oh, look at that. See, even with the phone in your face, it can be done. Okay, so now that I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and cut them out. So here we have our little dolphin die, and that just lines up. And I am going to use a little bit of washi tape just to hold it into place. And then, where is these? This is the one for the fish. Now, it doesn't look like it, so those of you coming to class, you might have to check around a little bit, but this is the fish. Just look for the arrow. It looks like an arrow, and that will go on there. And through the magic of television, I've already done it. And take a look. Look at my dolphins, right? Look how much lighter they are. And these are the ones we just stamped, see? So it really lightens up, and in person, it's even lighter. So it really does lighten up. So don't panic if it comes out really dark. All right. So here we have our little dolphins, and then the fish come out all together like so. Okay. And we're just going to add them. Let's move this out of the way. Add them to our card with some dimensionals. Now I like them to look like they're swimming. So I'm going to put one dimensional, and this guy is diving a little bit, maybe. Looking for some food, looking to play. And then we'll put this one up higher. He's looking to go up. So there he is. And then our little clownfish, or I guess they're not clownfish because they're yellow. I'm really not that familiar with fish. I just know, Finding Nemo and Little Mermaid. So, all right. So here we go. We'll put these fish here. And that is most of our card. Now for the finishing touch, we want two things. First is we need to stamp our little greeting, and this is going to be 1/2 inch strips of white paper, and I did not bring one, so we're gonna make one. So I'm gonna take that 3x4 card that I just had, but these will be pre-cut for you. I just left them up at my station where I was stamping. Oh, it's already open. Okay, and then I'm going to take my Make a Splash, turn it right side up, make a splash, tap, 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 and I'm just going to, I like to make sure I can see that it's going to go, make a splash. There we go. And then I can use my paper trimmer, which I have right here, and it's just going to cut it 1/2 inch. You don't have to do this, but if you're, doing it at home, making this card, it's a 1/2 inch. Whoops, let's get rid of that. And there we go. We've got a little, that's our little label. And I do want to, I feel like that's a little bit too long. You can decide how close or how far you want it, but I'm just going to cut these edges. I could have done it on an angle. I'm just going to do it straight up and down like I did on my sample. Look at this. I'm using the edge, so then I get a little strip of dimensionals. That's always fun. Hey, Kim, thanks for joining. All right, so I'm going to put that down there. And then no card is complete without a little bling of some kind. So check out these. These are called Adhesive Back Dots for Days. And they come in a variety of colors. And we're going to use these. These are Pool Party. And that works perfectly. Oops, let me do it like I would normally do it. Using my Take Your Pick tool. And I just go to the side. And this just adds to all the little adorable bubbles. So it gives the bubbles yet another texture to go with the little embossed like ones that were on the inside. Remember the little ones that you can see here? Whoops. There we go. Little teeny tiny shadows of ones. And this goes with it too. So that is the card for today. And we will, like I said, this will be featured in my class. And just remember that the bundles are on sale this month, June only, for the additional 10% off. That's all bundles that have dies that go with them. We do have some bundles that have punches, but this sale is for the ones that go with the dies. And if you have any questions about that, you can always contact me. I'd be happy to help you. You can check it out on the Stampin' Up! Website. I know, it's such a fun bundle, isn't it? It's I just love those little dolphins. Anything in the water, you know me. Anyway, thank you for joining, and we will see you next week. We'll get back to some templates. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.